Hello friends, welcome back to Solinia's English class. And in today's class we are going to learn about one more advanced grammar element, that is adverbials. Let's get started.
This is our topic of the day, adverbials. Adverbials don't come under standard parts of speech in English. I mean to say they don't have that royal place among the 8 parts of speech in English. They act like adverbs. They behave like adverbs. They are not adverbs, they behave like adverbs. What makes the learner job difficult is this ground rule. All adverbs can act as adverbials, but all adverbials can't be adverbs. There comes the difficulty. But once you understand the basic concept, basic difference of adverb and an adverbial, then it won't be a problem anymore. Like adverbs, adverbials also modify a verb, an adjective, or another adverb in the sentence, exactly like an adverb. Look at the examples. It rained heavily. Here it is modifying the verb rained. How did it rain? Heavily. It rained quite heavily. It is modifying another adverb in this sentence. Already we have one adverb here, heavily, and quite is modifying this adverb heavily. The rain is so fierce. So what happened here? Rain. How is the rain? Fierce. It is an adjective. It is being modified by an adverb so. See, it is difficult for us to identify whether it is an adverb or an adverbial, because by definition both can do this job. Both can do the job of modifying a verb, an adjective, or another adverb in the sentence. They tell us about where, when, why, how, to what degree, and how often a work is done. They are adverbials of place when they talk about where, time when they talk about when, reason when they talk about why, manner when they talk about how is the work done, degree when they say about to what degree, with what intensity, and frequency when they talk about how often a work is done. An adverbial can be a single word, as we have already discussed. It can be a single word. When it is a single, call it as adverb. We don't call it as adverbial when it is a single word. Look at the example. He ran fast. He ran fast. Here, fast is an adverb. It can be an adverb phrase as well. Adverbial can be an adverb phrase. For example, he ran very fast crossing the line. So here, how did he run? Very fast. How did he run? Fast. How fast he ran? Very fast. Okay. So adverb phrase. And then a prepositional phrase. For example, he ran very fast towards the end line. So an adverbial can be a prepositional phrase as well. Look at this. He ran very fast where? Towards the end line. Here it is acting as a prepositional phrase. And then an infinitive phrase. For example, he ran fast to win. So an adverbial can act as an infinitive phrase as well. Look at this example. He ran fast to win. He ran fast to win. What is the reason behind his running fast? He wants to win. Okay. And then a phrase of simile after the words like and as. Simile is a figure of speech. For example, he ran like a storm. So an adverbial can be used with a phrase of simile as well after the words like and as. Look at the given example. He ran like a storm. How did he run? Like a storm. comparison is being happening here. So an adverbial can be a single word. When it is a single word, we call it as an adverb. And it can be an adverb phrase as well, which consists of one or two adverbs and modifiers. And a prepositional phrase when it tells us about the location, the place, etc. And then an infinitive phrase when it explains the reason over here. And then a phrase of simile when it compares something with the other. How to use them is a big problem for the learners, especially beginners, because this concept itself comes under advanced grammar. As adverbs, what do? So we can use adverbials as adverbs. He spoke hastily. How did he speak? Hastily. So here it tells us about the manner of the work done. How did he speak? Hastily. And then she will be late. So this sentence is telling us about the time that she comes back. She will be late. Okay. So here late is the adverb which is telling us about the time of the work done. Okay. And then an adverb with a modifier. Let us see. First usage we have seen as adverbs, and now an adverbial as an adverb with a modifier. Let us see. He spoke really hastily. He spoke hastily. That is our one adverb. And how hastily? Really hastily. So how did he speak? Hastily. How hastily? Really hastily. So it is intensifying over here by adding to this adverb. Okay, adverb with a modifier. So really is acting as a modifier to this adverb hastily. Okay, it is intensifying the meaning. And then she will be quite late. She will be late. That is our adverb. How late? Quite late. Okay, it is intensifying and it is adding a degree over here to our adverb late. How late? Quite late. Okay, in this way it is modifying another adverb. Then you can use an adverbial as a prepositional phrase. She sang in a melodious tone. How did she sing? In a melodious tone. Entire phrase is a prepositional phrase which is used as an adverbial over here, modifying the verb sang. How did she sing? In a melodious tone. We have learnt about prepositional phrases acting as adjective phrases and adverb phrases in our 10 types of phrases, if you remember. And then they will meet at the pub. Here, at the pub is the prepositional phrase which is telling us where the action will take place. Place of the action. Okay. So this is how an adverbial can be used as adverb, an adverb with a modifier, and a prepositional phrase as well. Where to place the adverbials? Even here also learners face a bit difficulty. Usually they are placed after the verb. See, English is such a language which has so many exceptions for each and every rule. So we cannot by heart the entire thing, but we have to keep observing the sentences every now and then. So usually adverbials are placed after the verbs. For example, she spoke rudely. So here the adverb rudely is placed immediately after the verb spoke. How did she speak? Rudely. And then if there is an object in the sentence, adverbial is placed after the object. For example, he closed the shop quickly. So here he closed what? The shop. It is the object. Okay. And how? Quickly. So this quickly is modifying his action, closing of the shop. How did he do it? Okay. So this adverb is not placed immediately after the verb here because of this object. Whenever there is an object in the sentence, you better place it after the object. Okay. He quickly closed the shop. That will be okay. He closed quickly the shop is wrong. Okay. Either you can say he quickly closed the shop, or you can say he closed the shop quickly. Okay. either after the object or before the finite verb. Then adverbials of frequency are placed before the finite verb. How? We seldom go to our village. Seldom is our adverb of frequency. Okay, we seldom go to our village. Go is our finite verb. So whenever you have adverb of frequency, it usually comes before the finite verb. And then if we emphasize on adverbial, we place it in the beginning of the sentence. If we emphasize more on the adverbial than any other part in the sentence, then we can bring it to the beginning position of the sentence. For example, in a few moments, the show will start. Everyone is eagerly waiting for the show and you are making this announcement. In a few moments. So here you are emphasizing on this particular adverbial. When is the show going to begin? In a few moments. So you are emphasizing on this adverbial. So you can start your sentence with this adverbial phrase. See, this is all quite confusing for the learners, right? Especially for the beginners who want to learn language. Everything seems really hazed out with these adverbs, adverbials. They get confused a lot. So we will do one thing. So to simplify the things, what do? Let us check. Let's consider single word adverbials as only adverbs. For the time being, let us practice like this. Let's consider single word adverbials as adverbs. We don't call these adverbials as adverbials anymore. We call them as adverbs only. Okay? And then adverbials with two or more words as adverbial phrases. So now what do we have? We have only adverbs and adverbial phrases. Is it clear? If we have a single word, we call them adverbs. If they have two or more words, we call them adverbial phrases. Let's practice like this. Okay? Don't at all get worried about all these phrases, adverbials, names. Names are really complicated, but things are simple if you observe carefully. Okay, what is the necessity for us to call single word adverbials as adverbials? Why can't we call them adverbs? Of course we can call them. In the beginning, as a ground rule, I already told you, all adverbs can be adverbials. So single word adverbials are adverbs. We have already learnt that. Okay, adverbs can be adverbials when they are only single word. That we have already learnt. Okay, but adverbs with two or more words, we call them phrases. Even if you go by the definition of the phrase has two or more words which is not complete in its meaning, which is a part of a sentence. All these are applicable over here. So why to consider these adverbials as adverbials and adverbial phrases differently? But life is not that simple, my dears. There is one more concept called adverbial clause. Let us see what it is. Adverbials can be used in a clause as well. We will call them adverbial clauses. For example, he became upset as soon as the result was announced. So this is our adverbial clause over here. When he became upset as soon as the result was announced. It tells us about the time of the action. So this is an adverbial clause. Okay. And then one more example. The day felt long as she was absolutely tired. Okay. Single word, adverb. Two or more words, adverbial phrases. If it has subject and a verb which is not finite, then it is a dependent clause. Let's observe these sentences with adverbials. Okay. So here, if you observe these sentences, they danced with great energy. It is telling us about the manner of the work done. How did he dance? With great energy. He won't give up his fame in a hurry. Not for simple reasons. Okay. He won't give up. To what extent he won't give up? He will never give up his fame. We stay near the railway track. Where do we stay? Near the railway track. Place. Place of being. I attend my online classes during the day. It tells us about the time of the action done during the day. They always argue with each other. When do they argue with each other? Always. My parents will reach here in an hour. When do they reach here? Time in an hour. We don't visit our village quite often. Frequency tells us about the frequency. How many times we do? Seldom we do. Not quite often. He has almost completed his project. To what extent he has completed his project? Almost. Okay. So these are adverbial phrases. So that is about our adverbials. Now let us see a simple quiz. Identify the function of these adverbial phrases and clauses. I left the dog right here. My cousin, when she is nervous, taps her feet. He wrote the test surprisingly well. She wanted to tour around the world. I gave examples for you to understand better. They advised her to make the most of the opportunity. The thief ran as quick as possible. Whether you like it or not, you have to learn this concept.
So that's all for today's lesson, friends. Hope this lesson has helped you in understanding the complicated concept of adverbials. Meet you soon with another interesting video. Bye for now, guys.